behind the scenes and why he's about to spend the rest of his life in prison. So if you ever took Bric Baby as a joke, this video will certainly change your mind. But before we get into it, let me run the intro. The story begins on Bedford Avenue, located in the notorious Overhill section of the Rolling 60s. Here is where a boy named Zier Mitchell was born to a notorious Los Angeles family. Not notorious on an official or legal level, but notorious in the sense that they were known as a serious hustling family. So given their potentially dangerous lifestyle, they smartly decided to let Zier stay with his grandma whenever they were handling business. Basically, throughout his younger years, he was between his mom's house on Bedford and his grandma's house on Donview Place. I say that to say that his family always wanted to put him in good positions, and that included sending him to private school as well.
He actually died in your arms. You know what I'm saying?
He had a bright future ahead, but then his parents would meet some people that would change his family's trajectory forever. While Zier was in middle school, his parents would meet and build a relationship with Big Meech and Southwest Tea, the founders of the notorious BMF. Ooh-wee, this took their hustle to a whole new level. Basically, they started with helping BMF expand to the West Coast, but then they were actually invited to live with them in Detroit. This was a financial opportunity of a lifetime, and Zier's parents would take up on it and flee to Detroit. Obviously, they would leave the kids back home to be raised by Granny, and this is when life would start to derail for Zier. Once his parents left, he began to veer towards hanging out with his cousins in the hood, who happened to be notorious Rolling 60s members. And unfortunately, as soon as he was introduced to the lifestyle, he knew that he wanted to be a part of the streets. But because he was only 11 to 12 years old, his cousins refused to put him onto the hood, and as a result, Zier tried to create his own gangs.
And we started called Inglewood, California Crip. Me and my best friend, Envelope.
Then, after giving up that idea, he decides to join something else.
From there, I joined a clique called CIP, and it was completely irresistible players. And the police ended up documenting us in the gang files as Crips in Progress. CIP. So they changed it from completely irresistible players to Crips in Progress because we was getting into so much shit in the area. So that was really my introduction.
So now as a middle schooler, Zier is roaming the West LA streets as an unofficial gang member. But then his friend's uncle would find out about this. Things would not be good for them. Well, not in the way you think. Instead of being upset that they're in the streets like any responsible adult should, he was just upset that they didn't join his gang.
Uncle Mike, he found out we all was from this clique. And he came over there tripping one day. Like, he was bullying. Like, this is a big buff, bro, man. He came over there tripping on this one day. Like, I ain't having it. Like, y'all either go turn West Boulevard today or get over it.
So now Zier is pressured with the ultimatum of joining the West Boulevard Crips. This was like a dream come true, except because he was told to do it, he now did not want to do it. Like, if I'm going to join somewhere, I'm going to do it because I want to, not because somebody else is telling me to do it.
I ain't finna be from West Boulevard because he tried to make me. You know, I was rebellious back there, so I started hanging with the Harlem 30s.
So now after rejecting the West Boulevards, he starts hanging out with the notorious Harlem 30s. He runs with them for a short time, but then his cousins come around and are like, you're either going to join over there or join us with the 60s.
Like, my mom always had a house nearby Slauson, and all my cousins lived on Slauson, so I ended up getting put on 60s like my 14th summer, but I always was affiliated.
So Zier officially gets put onto the 60s during his 8th grade summer.
I got jumped by all man. I squad with one, he was like 19, and I squad with like a 30-year-old, and yeah, I got knocked out.
So now he's officially a Rolling 60s member right before starting out at his private high school. He's known as Zier Mitchell at school, and on the block he's known
You got to think, LA, like the real gaudy diamond jury, diamond in each link, like this has never been done in LA yet. The rapper's jury is very feasible. It's like if you get you some rapper jury and go to the jeweler, you up a couple $100,000.
Unfortunately for them, they're unable to get a hand on Jeezy at the award show, so now they follow him to the club.
It was so many of us, we pushed the security out the way, rushed the club.
So now Zier and his boys run in the club and absolutely take it over. In fact, Zier jumps behind the bar, grabs 2 bottles, and then stands up and clashes them together. Simultaneously, his boys go over to the DJ booth and grab the mic.
Tell the whole club to roll the 60s in here, like, oh, like it's one of them nights.
After doing this, they wiggle over to the section that Jeezy's in, looking to snatch his chain.
We trying to ease our way to Jeezy. We see the snowman. We trying to go do our thing.
But as Jeezy's crew notice what's about to happen, they whip out their blanks.
They got like a chopper. This is my first time ever seeing like a mini carbine or something. Like they got a chop out, like, and we look back. And I just go to shake Jeezy and ooh, yeah, like, what up, man?
Thankfully, the situation was stopped before it even started. But I say all that to show that at just 16 years old, this is what Zier was about. And because of his willingness to do anything for the 60s, he was increasing his rank. This is how he earned the name in the set of Shitty or Shitro, and the ability to put on new members. Well, in the late summer of 2004, he would bring his first young member to be put on the set. This would be a young friend of his by the name of Eric Holder. Eric was only 14 years old, but already thirsty and ready to put in work in the set. So of course, Zier brings him to the set, puts him on, and earns the nickname of Lil Shitty. Big Shitty and Lil Shitty, a duo that would forever make history in the set. So being a big homie at just 16 years old meant that Zier had a rider by his side. At first, this meant protecting the trap, which happened to be Zier's mom's house. This is where you could find a whole lot of money, jewelry, and illicit items inside. So because of Zier, his mom's house became the hangout spot for the Overhill 60s.
My house was the spot. She had money and shit in the house and a lot of jewelry. So she let all the gangbangers kick it at the house because she had control of us. I had control of my homies, but we was like the security blanket.
Now remember, as he's committing felony robberies and hanging out on the block, he's still enrolled in private school and playing on the basketball team. So now it's the fall of 2004, and Zier's team has a major season ahead. The team is absolutely stacked as they have a 6'10 D1 center, a 6'7 D1 wing, and the point guard is Devin Williams, who you may know is in the lab. Well, long story short, they're so good that they have an undefeated season in their league, and they make it to the state championship game in Sacramento. Of course, they win the state championship, beating a Bay Area team like LA always does. So on paper, everything in Zier's life is looking good. Good GPA, winning a state championship, and also getting noticed on the AAU circuit. In fact, he was playing so well that he skipped his senior year of high school to go play at a basketball prep school in Mississippi. Now you'd think that with this great opportunity, Zier would go into it with a positive mentality. Now that I'm out of state, I'm going to leave the gang stuff behind me and simply focus on basketball. But sadly, for whatever reason, he simply cannot let the street life go. So right after his senior year at the prep school, he catches his first case. As he's riding around Mississippi in a car with no registration, troopers get behind him. And because he has an illegal weapon in the car, he decides to take him on a chase. So he bends a few blocks, giving him enough time to roll down the window and throw out the clip and then throw out the weapon. So then after getting rid of it, he rolls his window up and then pulls over so they can talk to him. Unfortunately for him, the officers did see him throw it, so they go around and they end up finding him. At this point, everything he's worked hard for is at jeopardy. He could quickly become a felon. However, because of a technicality in Mississippi law, he gets off with a misdemeanor.
Threw the gun, so they found the gun with no clip. That's a misdemeanor. Because it wasn't like,
well, while this is going on and he's sitting in a jail cell, he does receive some very good news.
And while I'm there, I get an acceptance letter from Atlanta University.
So now he has the amazing opportunity to play on Clark Atlanta's basketball team and to go to school for free. Well, after presenting this to the court, the judge thankfully allows him to get out of jail just 2 days before orientation.
What day do you start orientation? He let me out 2 days before orientation, so I couldn't do no gang banging or nothing.
This was a close call, but thankfully they let him off easy, and he's able to now focus on, well, is he? Oh, hell no. You'd think that catching that case would scare him straight, like everything I've worked hard for almost was out of my hands. Like now I'm going to focus on basketball and school and definitely stay out of trouble. But nope, Zier's entrance to Atlanta would be quite the opposite. As soon as he touches down in the city, he links up with his Rolling 60s cousins who now run with BMF. So while his classmates are sleeping in the dorms and kicking it on campus, he's with Big Meech at the club and sleeping in his mansion as well.
So I'm the youngest little dude. You know what I'm saying? Young in the club. 17, 18. I was Meech and them though.
And as soon as he was introduced to their lifestyle, he fell in love with it and was willing to do anything to impress Big Meech, including trapping and moving weight while being a full-time college student. So just like that, an 18-year-old Zier is risking his freedom once again. And unfortunately, during his second semester, it would all catch up to him. While heading down the interstate with 75 pounds in his car, a Georgia State trooper gets behind him. He throws some of the bags out of the window, but unfortunately they catch up to him before he can get rid of it all. And just like that, Zier is arrested and is facing a serious Class A felony. While enrolled as a college student, he's now facing up to 8 years in prison. At this moment, everything he's ever worked for is now way out of the window. They caught him red-handed with serious weight, and he's going to be sitting in prison for quite some time. Well, long story short, he pleads guilty to the felony, and now his future is at the hands of a judge. Somehow he gets another lenient judge who sentences him to
4 months in jail, 10 years probation.
Receiving only 4 months for 75 pounds is very strange, especially in the South. On top of this, during this exact time, BMF was taken down and all of them got 15 to 20 years.
With 4 new big arrests, Atlanta police believe they have just about shut down the so-called Black Mafia family. And as our Julia Harding reports, these suspects were hiding out in one of the city's most popular areas.
Anyone tied to BMF typically has an extensive criminal history. So we consider them to be very violent.
Federal agents seized this limo with secret compartments that had almost $1 million hidden inside. An organization that at one time claimed to rule Atlanta. Now agents say that's no longer the case.
So now with all of BMF arrested, Zier just threw his life away for nothing. You started trapping to impress them, and now you'll probably never see them again. So now that he doesn't have a school to go to or a crew to hang out with, he only has a choice but to return back to Los Angeles. So right after his release from Fulton County Jail, he makes his glorious return to the wicked, overhill Los Angeles streets. It's now the fall of 2006, and Zier is back to ground one, hanging out with his 60s homies in the hood. He's now just another failed high school athlete who's back in the hood doing absolutely nothing. We all know some of those, don't we? But not only is he doing nothing productive, he's also in the process of risking his life every single day. Why, you might be wondering? Well, because while he was in Atlanta, his little homie Eric Holder was causing havoc in the streets. So upon Zier's return to LA, he was putting his life in immediate risk. It's an early October afternoon, and Zier and Eric are rolling through the set headed to their local corner store. Zier has his shirt off and a Blic sitting in his lap as they get to the store. So when Eric parks the car, Zier hops out and puts his Blic under his seat. He then reaches for the back door so he can grab his hoodie and put it on. But that's when he's met with a barrage of gunfire. Shots are flying from all the way across the street, but somehow Zier is hitting his shoulder. It then ricochets and hits him in his neck, which completely shatters his back. So now he's laying on the floor and can't move anything under his waist. Thankfully, that's when Eric runs around to him, picks him up, and ties him down in the front seat. He then runs around to his side of the car, hops in, and speeds away to the hospital.
They ended up taking my boy with panic. Driving 100 miles per hour. I'm like, man, slow down, because I didn't have no feelings, so my neck, I'm like, bro.
Thankfully, he ends up surviving after making it to the hospital, but that's when the doctors give him devastating news.
Like, I was in the bed, like when I first got shot, and he was rubbing the bottom of my feet. So what happened? My nerves were shattered. I had fractured my neck. I'm telling him like I can feel you rubbing my foot. He's like, no, you can't. You're paralyzed. You'll be it's like a Middle Eastern dude. You'll be paralyzed forever. You'll never walk again. I'm like, bro, I just felt you rub my feet. He's like, you want to feel me rubbing your feet? I'm like, what the
So for 6 months, he lays in a hospital bed thinking that he'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. A whole lot of time to lay there and think about all of his wasted potential. So now he's pissed off at his rivals and he tells Eric to go put in work. So from what we know, Eric Holder immediately hit the streets and started knocking down rivals. So not only did he save his life, but he also allegedly eliminated those who did this to his friend. Eric's loyalty to Zier was unparalleled. He was basically forever indebted to his life. Well, after months of being angry in a hospital bed, a miracle comes out of nowhere.
We sitting inside the hospital, we watching TV, and I just move my legs up like, what the are you doing? I'm like, oh shit, I was trying to get comfortable. My legs just moved. She like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, she ran and got the nerve. Went to rehab, physical therapy after that for like 4 months.
Somehow, after 6 months, he's able to fully recover and get back on his feet. And after his full recovery, he would smartly get out of the LA streets and head back to Atlanta. Now, you may be thinking that this was his wake-up call to get out of the streets, but this wasn't the case at all. Instead, he heads back to Atlanta with a serious mission in mind, and he brings Eric with him. Basically, he wants to become the king of the streets, the powerful leader of the Georgia Rolling 60s. At this time, and really still to this day, the streets in the South had absolutely zero structure. Nobody listened or followed orders from anyone, and it was pretty much every man for himself. No certified OGs, DPs, put-ons, none of that. So essentially what Zier was trying to do was bring the Los Angeles way to Georgia, where you could have people under him and serving anything he wanted. So in order to do this, he hit the streets hard and recruited new members, guys who were under him and who would do anything he said. And in the process, believe it or not, they took over some serious hoods, and this is how Zier truly made his name in Atlanta. From the notorious Four Seasons apartments, the West End, and a Southside hood known as Shady Park. While in the process of expanding the set, Zier unfortunately brought some havoc to the streets. In typical LA fashion, he began robbing and extorting rappers, a trend that Atlanta had never seen before.
No, that's somebody I robbed that was Gucci's best friend.
This is how he becomes known for robbing in Atlanta, somebody that you'd rather have on your side than against you. So he's basically extorting people for friendships, but on the flip side, he's also pretty intelligent. After befriending a local rolling 60 by the name of Pee Wee Longway, he ends up running his bag up like never before. If you're unfamiliar, Pee Wee was a very well-known hustler in the streets of Atlanta, known for running up millions. And because of this, he had connections to the up-and-coming and major rappers in Atlanta.
I met everybody through Pee Wee Longway. That's my brother. It's like my brother-in-law.
As they were constantly in studios and surrounded by rappers, they decided to join together and to start a music label. This would be known as Money, Piles, and Ammo, also known as MPA.
Okay, so you guys started rolling together and you guys started MPA together.
We around it so much. Let's pay for some studio time, shoot a couple videos. Let's just see where this goes.
Unfortunately, they had no idea how to properly run a business, but aside from that, Zier had a special ear for talent. In fact, he discovered Young Thug in 2008 and actually started managing his career early on. Without having him signed to any sort of paperwork, Zier had him in the studio and was also introducing him to some bigger names. In fact, in 2009, he even brought him to LA to try to get him in the studio with Nipsey Hussle.
I started showing him the game with what's going on the West Coast too.
Right.
You know, I took him in front of Nip in like 2009 and told him to work with him. And Nip was like iffy. Thug was slime, man. He was real, like, you know what I'm saying? He was out here robbing, doing all, real regular hood.
So the point is that he was helping out Atlanta artists, and he had a really good ear for talent. So not only does he have a potentially major label at his hands, but he's also doing pretty well financially. In fact, in 2009, he copped a nice condo in Sandy Springs to fly with, and he was just doing his thing. Once again, things are truly looking good for him, but sadly, this is when he's met with some terrible luck. October 22nd, 2009. It's a Thursday night in North Atlanta, and Zier is headed down Interstate 19, headed towards downtown. As he's cruising down, a Georgia State Patrol gets behind him and runs his tags. Unfortunately, he never registered the car, so the officer hits the cherries.
Ah, shit, here we go again.
Zier knows that he's riding dirty as a convicted felon, so he smashes on the pedal. Now he's on a high-speed chase, cutting in and out of traffic in Buckhead, and then he smashes into a pole. Just like that, the officers are able to pull him out of the car, and they find weapons inside. This time, it's no joke, because he's facing 4 separate felonies. So already being a convicted felon, he's looking at up to 12 years in prison. But somehow, once again, Zier is able to completely avoid prison and only get a few months in jail. A convicted felon and documented rolling 60s crip only gets a few months in jail for 4 separate felonies. That makes no sense in my mind. Well, once again, he gets off easy, and he's right back on the streets in early 2010. But not for long. On July 28, 2010, he would have another high-speed chase while on probation. And yet again, he's caught with a weapon and facing 10 years in prison. But mysteriously, the judge lets him off easy, and he only does 18 months. Now, before you call him a snitch or an informant, do understand that this is Fulton County, which is a complete joke. Well, regardless, it's now 2012, and the MPA boss returns to the streets. While he was away, Pee Wee Longway was able to discover young rappers Lil Durk, Rich Homie Quan, and a group called the Migos.
Rich Homie Quan before he came out. I'm hearing 21 Savage before he came out.
So as soon as Zier got out of prison, he was connected with them and actually started helping their careers. Not only did he pay for their studio time and connect them with rappers, but he also provided them with protection. Durk being an outsider from Chicago and the Migos being suburban wannabes, they both could use some protection. But most importantly, the biggest thing he provided was protection whenever the rappers went to LA. In fact, he even brought Future to LA for the very first time.
You know what I'm saying? I've been that person, like bringing them out here. Like I had Future. I turned LA on the Future. I was listening to Dirty Sprite 1. I brought them out here to do a song with Nip.
Essentially, he was every rapper's connection whenever they'd go to LA. He was the first and only call. Remember this, because it will be very important. Well, as we know, everyone around him and Pee Wee was getting rich and famous during this period. And after a while, they got kind of tired of being the guys in the background. They wanted to try rapping for themselves. So Zier would become MPA Shitro or MPA Bric Baby, and Pee Wee was still Pee Wee Longway. Early on, things were looking bright for the duo, as they had the help of Durk, Future, Young Thug, Gucci Mane, and more. Basically, because of everything they had done for them, if they ever needed a feature, it was done right away. But then, unfortunately, as things are going up for Bric Baby, he catches another felon in possession charge in Los Angeles. And this time he's sentenced to 3 years in prison. As he's sitting in a lonely prison cell, everyone around him is getting rich and famous. Young Thug signs with Birdman and blows up, Future blows up, Lil Durk blows up, Rich Homie Quan blows up, Pee Wee Longway blows up, well, kind of, but you get the point. Oh, and don't forget that the Migos get a feature with Drake, and they're out of here as well. So literally everyone who was with him in Atlanta completely blow up and get nationally famous. All while Zier Bric Baby is sitting in a California prison with no fame or nothing. Damn, that would shatter any man's ego. Don't act like it wouldn't. But on the flip side, because they're all rich and famous now, he assumes that once he gets out, they'll definitely put him on. So 3 long years go by, and Bric Baby is finally released. It's 2015, and Bric Baby is finally home, expecting a warm welcome. But as soon as he touches down, a harsh reality kicks in. These guys are not your real friends. Aside from Thug, Pee Wee, and Durk, his friends were not there to help him out and pretty much wanted nothing to do with him.
You told me earlier that you've been cut off. People cut you off or something of that sort.
My industry friends that I thought was my friends now. Free YSL, Gunna Slime. Y'all did, you know what I'm saying? You already know, we ain't got to talk long way.
After everything he did for some of his friends in the industry, he really took it hard.
Just broke, we could go through DMs, or when you was up and coming, we could do that. I just feel like they wanted to be around me when they was broke because they didn't have nothing. So now you a millionaire now, you don't want that type of pressure around. But you think I'm going to turn that energy on you? You my boy. I wouldn't give a fuck if you had $1 or $1 billion. I'm going to treat you the same way.
Bric Baby was now a peon or an afterthought to many people he helped out, and this truly hurt his ego. Now, instead of being the guy who helps out rappers and protects them, he reverts to being the guy who wants to rob them. Don't come to LA. Unless your name is Durk, Thug, or Pee-wee, you better tuck your tail. So as the streets tell it, Bric Baby becomes the biggest chain collector in LA. Basically, he had his young Rolling 60s members doing serious homework in the streets. This included having them sit at the airport for rappers to come to town, and then following the cars back to their hotel. Then they'd relay all of this information back to Bric, and he'd do with it what he pleased. So basically, without them knowing, rappers were being tracked by Bric Baby the second they stepped foot in LA. Then he and the Rolling 60s would wait for the perfect opportunity to strike, and they'd get up on him. Give me everything you got. So just like that, he went from being known as the helpful guy in the industry to the boogeyman. And because of this reputation, he would be featured on YG's notorious song, Don't Come to LA. Don't come to LA, raffles for their jewelry. Bro, LA is so corny, bro. But anyways, as the YG feature would help his recognition, he was still hurting financially. How I know this? Well, he was now 29 years old and still taking penitentiary chances. And that takes us to September 21st, 2017. It's an early Thursday afternoon on the west side of LA, and Bric and two Rolling 60s members are masking up for a lick. In particular, they aim to hit a high-end jewelry store in the wealthy Marina del Rey. So at 1 p.m., they arrive in front of the store in a gray Range Rover SUV. Then they quickly hop out of the car and run inside the store with bags. Once they're able to secure a few expensive items, they run out of the store and hop back in the Range Rover. Bric then quickly speeds away, not realizing that LAPD are already behind him. After bending a few blocks, he hears the sirens and knows they're in trouble. So he instantly punches the gas and busts a left down a residential road. This is when he finally realizes that it's a dead-end street. So now he has no choice but to stop the car and run inside a nearby apartment. While he barricades himself in the lobby, police completely surround the area. And from here, a 6-hour standoff begins. Bric Baby in the 60s versus LAPD. Finally, at 7:30 p.m., Bric Baby surrenders.
Misunderstanding tonight, or was it justified? A local rapper arrested after a tense standoff with officers in Marina del Rey, but his family says police got the wrong guy. NBC4's Beverly White just spoke with his family and police. Beverly.
That's right, Chuck. LAPD says it started with a 20-minute pursuit this afternoon of a man traveling in a silver Range Rover, and it ended when he ducked into this apartment building in the 13,900 block of Panay Way. That music video from YouTube is of local rap artist Bric Baby, the 29-year-old now in LAPD custody after a standoff in Marina del Rey, identified by his mother, who declined to give her name.
The already 3-time felon is facing 2 more of them things. Because of his history and the severity of the charges, he's facing up to 15 years in prison. Definitely nothing to scoff at. Of course, his family doesn't want to see him go away for a long time. And because of this, they go on the news and blame everything on his co-defendant. His mom goes on the news and says, "My son didn't rob anyone. In fact, he doesn't even own a gun." And get ready for this one. His friend is actually the one who robbed the store, and Bric only drove him away because of adrenaline. So she evidently threw his co-defendant under the bus. And I don't know, is this snitching? It's his mom, but yeah, it's snitching, right? Well, long story short, Bric is let off easy again as he's sentenced to 4 years in prison. And even though this isn't that much time, with 4 felonies on his record, what is he going to do for the rest of his life? Obviously, this is a harsh reality for a guy in his 30s, but sadly, during his prison stay, things get even worse.
The music world is mourning Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was killed in a shooting in Los Angeles. Hussle was shot multiple times yesterday in a parking lot outside his clothing store.
What he meant to the community, if you want to look around right now, every single person that's out here spending their time here, they're here because he spoke to them in some way. He inspired them in some way. They related to him in some way.
He meant a lot. He meant everything to the community. You know, he was an entrepreneur. He was employing people. He loved his community. He was encouraging them and empowering them to be more, to do more with their lives. So that's why we heard today.
The city of LA, and more specifically the Rolling 60s, lost a legend. Unfortunately, Bric Baby would learn from a prison cell.
Oh no, I'm playing poker in the day room. So I'm playing poker, and a dude from Blackstone come over from Jungles. He come over like, shitty blood, like they killed Nip. I'm like, stop playing with the set. Immediately, I'm like, stop playing, bro. I get on the phone. I'm like, hey, what they talking about with Nip? They're like, yeah, he just got killed. And I'm like, huh? How did somebody come into the parking lot and kill bro? Like, he's supposed to be untouchable in this parking lot. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Bric is completely devastated and confused, and it gets even worse when he finds out who did it. His little homie Eric Holder, the one who saved his life and put in work when he was paralyzed. And once he heard the story of how it transpired, this is what hurt him the most. Basically, he was with his girlfriend and he walked up to Nipsey in front of his door. And when he goes to dap him up, Nipsey refuses to shake his hand and calls him a rat. This is a major violation in the LA street code. You do not call someone a rat without paperwork, and especially not in front of their girl. So Eric, being one of the only actual steppers from the Rolling 60s, he feels completely played and wants to do something to Nipsey. So long story short, he goes to his car, grabs his blick, and walks back to the block. Then in front of an entire crowd of Rolling 60s members, he walks right up to Nipsey and lets him have it. After emptying his clip, he simply walks away as Nipsey's friends are frozen in shock. And because of how quickly and emotionally this happened, Bric realizes that if he was there, he could have calmed down Eric and made everything okay.
Now, I get wind that it's Cub. I'm like, oh, Cub. I'm like, man. I'm just like, man, how one of my close friends killed my other close friend while I was in jail. And so you always think like, damn, if I was on the streets, could I have stopped it? I probably could have took him to go smoke and slide. We could have went somewhere that would never happen.
How Eric Holder was able to do this in front of all those people is beyond me, but it is California at the end of the day. And on top of this, instead of going by their own code and holding court in the streets, they decided to testify against him in court. What I've now learned doing this for a few years is that all of these LA street codes that they all say they abide by are pretty much never enforced, or at least they pick and choose who they want to enforce them on. And on top of this, they're always contradicting themselves. But either way, we move on to another rapper loss that involves the Rolling 60s, and that takes us right back to Atlanta, Georgia. As we all know, in the summer of 2020, Chicago rapper King Von would start an internet beef with Baton Rouge's NBA YoungBoy. I guess it started over a girl, but for the sake of the video, the details don't really matter. Well, because of YoungBoy's close friendship with Rolling 60s rapper Quando Rondo, he was implicated in the beef as well. So for months, Von would instigate the beef and they would go back and forth online. Then eventually, Von would take the internet beef to the streets. On the night of November 6, 2020, Quando Rondo and his friend Lil Tim would be at a lounge in Atlanta. Von, who now happened to be living in Atlanta as well, would get word of this and he would pull up to the lounge. So while Lil Tim is sitting in the Escalade and Quando Rondo is standing outside, King Von would pull up on him and start whooping his ass. As soon as Tim sees what's going on and Quando's on the ground surrounded by the Chicago goons, he lets off.
Atlanta police say 2 people are dead after an officer-involved shooting here on Trinity Avenue in downtown. As dawn turned to daylight, you could make out dozens of evidence markers. GBI crime scene investigators combing the scene.
It hurt us. It hurt us a lot. I cried. Some of my friends cried. He had a big influence on us. A really big influence.
Obviously, this was a monumental moment in rap history as one artist lost his life to another. And unfortunately, everyone in the industry and the streets started picking sides. Either on Von and Lil Durk's side, or you're on Quando and YoungBoy's side. There's no in between. Well, despite the fact that Von initiated all of this, and Quando's side arguably did nothing wrong, everyone was choosing Durk's side. This was so big that even Spotify and Apple Music are accused of taking Durk's side and blackballing Quando and YoungBoy.
He literally told me, he said, Apple blackballing Quando. He said, I talked to the people at Spotify. Because Quando was signed to me. He said, they say they can't put him on so-and-so. It was either Apple or Spotify. They said, we can't put him on so-and-so because the other guy don't with him, and he ain't gonna with us. So basically, he was saying that Durk either told Spotify or Apple that, yo, if y'all with that guy, I ain't gonna with y'all. So basically, they were picking sides, right?
All the guys who always talk about the street code, the street code, the street code. Well, I guess it doesn't apply to this situation. King Von and his crew initiated the beef, and Lil Tim stood up for his friend. What goes against the street code at all? But like I said, with the streets picking and choosing what's okay, because Von and Durk were the popular artists, everyone went against Quando and Tim.
The game ain't acting like they're picking favorites, not standing on how the streets normally supposed to treat that. You're supposed to treat that as, it is what it is.
Now, of course, this is all the industry, so let's go back to the real streets. And when I say real streets, I'm talking about Bric Baby. All of this went down while Bric Baby was in prison about a year before his release. Regardless, though, upon his release, a lot of people were curious where his loyalties would lie. Are you loyal to your buddy Durk or to the Rolling 60s, specifically the set that you brought to Georgia? Now, according to the LA street codes, you're never supposed to go against your own gang, because at that point, what's the point of even being in it? When you're constantly talking about on 6-0 and on Hood and riding and being loyal for the set, there's no way you can cross your own flag. However, when it comes to your millionaire friend, all of that goes out the window. Right after his prison release, Bric Baby goes on No Jumper and lets the world know where he stands.
You know what I'm saying? Like Quando Rondo.
You know,
Boy, stop.
well, that's gotta be weird for you because you with Durk so much.
It ain't weird for me.
Yeah.
It ain't weird for me at all. You know what I'm saying? You're not from Rolling 60s. Oh, really? You're not from LA Rolling 60s. You're not from Rolling 60s. Oh, really? You're not from LA Rolling 60s. You're not from Rolling 60s.
Wait. All those years of putting people on in Georgia and spreading the 60s out there, and you don't even respect them as Rolling 60s? That makes no sense. That is the dumbest reason to say that you're not rocking with Quando, because he's not from LA and he's from Georgia. That makes no sense. So to all the Rolling 60s out there that aren't in LA, see this and understand that the guys in LA do not respect you. So just understand that. And that's not to mention that the guys out of state are probably more active, because in LA they're just squabbling and catching fades and hanging out in front of their $1 million hoods where nothing happens and they talk about how crazy it is. But the point is that Bric Baby did the unthinkable and went against his own flag for his millionaire friend, going against everything he's ever said he stood for. And that just shows you the true character of Bric Baby, just grimy and slimy.
You really from the trenches and you showing love? Because we not going to get on your ass. You get what I'm saying? Because you got it like how we got it. Because you got it like how we got it. Because you got it like how we got it. It's these pretending ass niggas. You don't have a hood that you're taking care of. You're not from the hood. 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 You're not from the hood.
So now that we know where Bric Baby stands, let's focus back on the beef between Lil Durk and Quando. From all accounts, Quando and the Savannah Rolling 60s never wanted beef with Vaughn and really never wanted this to happen at all. And despite the fact that all Lil Tim did was defend his friend, Lil Durk still wants get back for Vaughn. Well, given that Durk lives in Atlanta and Quando and his boys are only a few hours away, you'd think that he'd send a hit to Savannah. But because Quando and his boys would have home field advantage, and it's the South where everyone's packing heat, it's not necessarily an easy hit. But instead, Durk waits patiently for them to go to a particular city, a city where he knows he can get them gone. This, of course, would be the city of Los Angeles, which for 3 reasons would be the perfect place for him to do it. If Quando and his boys are in LA, they have no home field advantage. In fact, they probably don't know where they are at any time. And secondly, they won't be strapped, because the laws in California make it pretty much impossible to do so. And the third reason? None other than Bric Baby. As we know, Bric Baby is the king of hawking down rappers as soon as they touch down in the city. And not only can he give you Quando's exact location, but he can also supply you with what you need. You know, the things. Well, from what the FBI states, Lil Durk waits patiently for Quando and his boys to go to LA. And that day would finally come, nearly 2 years after the demise of Vaughn, August 18th, 2022. It's a regular morning like any other when Lil Durk gets a call from an unknown source informing him of Quando's presence in LA. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for, so he seizes it and he quickly calls an OTF member by the name of Vaughn. OTF Vonnie, whose real name is Kevon Grant, is a certified stepper from Detroit who's known for getting things done. So as soon as Durk gets the information on Quando, he calls up Vonnie and has him fly on his private jet to come meet him. So according to investigators from here, Durk and Vonnie have a meeting where they discuss what needs to be done. And because of Vonnie's reputation for allegedly getting people slumped, he's tasked with handling all the logistics. This includes booking flights, hotel rooms, rental cars, and basically handling everything that needs to be done. So as soon as the meeting wraps up, Vonnie immediately gets to planning. First, he gets in contact with 4 reputed OTF steppers, handpicked by him. These would be DeAndre Wilson, also known as Didi, Keith Jones, also known as Flocka, David Lindsay, also known as Brown Eyes, and Asa Houston, also known as Boogie. He informs them of the mission at hand and tells them to immediately get ready. Then he makes a massive mistake. Using OTF credit cards, he books them red-eye flights to Los Angeles. Coincidentally, just minutes after doing this, Durk texts him, "Hey, don't book no flights under my name or anything that has to do with me."
Too late, buddy.
Not only did he already use the OTF card to get them flights, but he also got them hotel rooms as well. On top of this, one of the hitters DMs his girl on Instagram and lets her know that he's on his way to Los Angeles. Regardless, this doesn't stop anything, and the 4 OTF hitters head to the airport for their midnight flight. Okay, so now that all the travel is handled, Vonnie hops on a private jet headed to Los Angeles. He touches down in the early morning, and now it's time for him to get everything together. August 19th, 2022, 7 a.m. Vonnie takes an Uber to a luxury car rental and gets a BMW M5 and an Infiniti G37. He then wipes them down individually and takes them to get tinted. While waiting for the cars, he takes an Uber to Big 5 Sporting Goods where he buys 4 ski masks and 4 pairs of gloves. Oh, and not to mention, he again uses the OTF credit card. Well, once he leaves the sporting goods store, there's only 2 things left for him to do. First, he needs some blicks. Secondly, he needs to find out exactly where Quando Rondo is. And here is where 2 new mystery men come into the picture, known to the FBI as Co-Conspirator 2 and Co-Conspirator 4. Well, after the rental cars are ready, Vonnie meets up with Co-Conspirator 2. And when they meet up, number 2 hands him a duffel bag full of So they go their separate ways, and Vonnie now meets up with number 4. Together, they go over strategy, and number 4 tells him to follow him and will take him exactly to Quando's location. Ooh-wee, it's really about to happen. And now they go to the hotel to pick up the rest of the hitters. From here, Vonnie and the hitters inside the M5 and Infiniti follow number 4 to Quando's location. Aha, there he is. They spot his black Escalade on Melrose Avenue. Then number 4 messages them and tells them that that is in fact Quando's car. Now he vanishes off in the distance and allows the OTF hitters to do what they do. They're now tracking the black Escalade down Melrose, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Well, after a few minutes of following, the black Escalade busts a right on Beverly Boulevard and pulls over to get some gas. Oh yeah, now it's the perfect time. They head up an alley next to the gas station, park their cars, and get out on foot. They then run into the gas station and absolutely light up the Escalade. After emptying over 100 shots, they run back to their cars and vanish off in the distance. Thankfully, Quando Rondo was untouched, but sadly, his best friend wasn't.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath. Shots fired, a fight taken to the streets, and this chaotic scene, the ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight. It all started at this mobile gas station at 5:30 Friday evening. LAPD says witnesses heard multiple gunshots, then watched a couple cars zoom off. 3 people in 1 car shot at this black Cadillac Escalade. It's unclear if those inside shot back.
Can I get some space, please?
It ended at Santa Monica Boulevard. Deputies found it peppered with bullet holes and a shattered window. 1 man inside, a member of Rondo's entourage, had been shot. The 23-year-old was taken to the hospital where he died.
They pulled up. They were pumping gas, and it looks like they probably finished pumping gas, and the suspects approached from the alley, got out of the car, and started shooting at those victims.
Shortly after doing this, the OTF members wipe down the rental cars, put their plates back on, and return them back to the owners. Now here's where things get interesting. After heading to the hotel and changing clothes, the 4 hitters head to Calabasas in an Uber to go to a burger restaurant. And there waiting for them is Co-Conspirator 2, who who's there to discuss business and who gets paid what. Then once they come to a fair agreement, co-conspirator 2 takes a private jet to Chicago, and the rest of them head down to San Diego. This is where they wait for a couple of days, and a trustworthy friend of Durk brings them a whole lot of money. Now this begs an important question. Who does Durk trust in California to handle a whole lot of his money? And on top of this, who did he trust to find Quando's location and to supply the weapons? Well, I have somebody in mind, and I definitely think he's either co-conspirator 2 or co-conspirator 4. Given everything we know about Bric Baby's history in the streets, his dislike for Quando Rondo, and his relationship with Durk, it would only make sense. But not only does it make logical sense, but there's also a whole lot of information out there that will make you think that Bric Baby had something to do with this. So now let's get into the reasons why Bric Baby was certainly involved.
Ooh, here we go.
Reason number 1. Directly after losing his friend, Quando Rondo blames the Rolling 60s. Directly after the incident, he goes on social media and posts this on his story. Basically, what he's saying is that he's done with the Rolling 60s, he's putting down his flag because of disloyalty. Now ask yourself, why after this incident would he be upset with his own gang? So much so that he's going to put his flag down because of disloyalty. Obviously, he knew something the world didn't, that the Rolling 60s had something to do with the death of Lil Pab. And as we know from the indictment, somebody from LA gave up his address. So who else could it possibly be? Who else in Los Angeles would know Quando's exact location other than his own gang who he's supposed to tap in with? And on top of this, which Rolling 60 would be connected to Durk? Obviously Bric Baby. And that's just the first reason why I believe that Bric Baby is co-conspirator 4. And trust me, there's a whole lot of other reasons as well, all coming out of his own mouth. And now we're at reason number 2. Bric Baby hints at it and admits that he was involved. During the period after the incident, nobody was thinking that Lil Durk was involved because it happened in LA and the whole Rolling 60s thing. But that's when Bric Baby goes on No Jumper and reveals to the world that Lil Pab's death was get back for Vaughn.
Oh yeah, slap for Vaughn, right? Yeah.
They say you can't say that no more.
Why? Oh yeah, because of no. Like who died?
You can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FBG Cash? Oh who?
Nah, because Lil Pab.
Ooh-wee, this is when people started to put 2 and 2 together. Lil Durk had something to do with the death of Lil Pab. And isn't it interesting that one of Durk's closest friends and Rolling 60s member is the one who revealed it? Well, Wack 100 thinks it's very odd as well.
Could kind of turn into something. Because if I'm not mistaken, he kind of made a comment like, I guess they can't say OTF didn't slide. There's no getting out of that.
Listen, if he's just a random person, it's whatever. But he's somebody who's got photos with Durk. He's been pictured with all the OTF guys and stuff. It seems like kind of, that was before he even worked for No Jumper. That actually was the interview that made me like, you know what? I'm going to with you.
Wait, what? That's why you hired him? Because he snitched on Lil Durk? What? But anyways, let's continue.
Because at the time, OTF was never mentioned.
Right.
He's the first one that made any type of anything that OTF was involved by saying, I guess they can't say they didn't slide for bond no more. It's like,
well, if this doesn't convince you enough, right after this, Bric Baby would drop a song where he basically incriminates himself. In a song called Not Enough, here's what he says. He was ducking trying to hide, now he in a blunt. He dropped 100 shots, go dig your partner out. Then he says, the last one we turned into a pack, we got 1 million plus. And now knowing what we know from the indictment of the co-conspirators getting paid, I mean, you know. But of course, on the flip side, he could just be lying about the money, right? Except for the fact that after this, he mysteriously starts living in a Calabasas 4-bedroom mansion. So just a year after getting out of prison for robbing a jewelry store, you're living in a Calabasas mansion. How does that make sense? I mean, No Jumper ain't paying that much, because I promise you, Bric Baby's house is worth more than Adam's.
Don't forget, Bric Baby is the rich crip.
Okay, so let's get back on track. The No Jumper interview where he reveals that the Lil Pab situation was get back for Vaughn, that was in February. And strangely, just a couple weeks later in March, the feds start tracking Bric Baby's every move. In fact, they even spy on him for 4 months straight.
I know you was getting followed for 4 months.
It was 4 months?
Hell yeah.
The only thing you told me is that they were following you back and forth from your house to here. And that kind of tripped me out. I'm like, wow, so these fools are just like parked outside sometimes and we just don't even know?
And low grandma vans, like soccer vans and shit.
And after 4 months of spying on him, they finally raid his house in the middle of the night. Yep, on June 25th, 2023, his Calabasas mansion was raided and they found an AK-47. Now, generally, this isn't that serious, but given that he's a 4-time felon, this is no joke. In fact, just like Crip Mac, he was facing up to 15 years in prison. And even though he seemed to wiggle out of serious consequences for every felony he's ever had, this one is a little different because it's the feds. Well, long story short, over the next years, somehow the case just magically disappears. And that really makes you wonder, how does a 4-time felon have such a big case dropped, just like that? Well, actually, the first question is, why was he being spied on, and why was he raided in the first place? Does it have anything to do with the murder of Lil Pop, or the fact that he was snitching on himself? Well, Whack 100 seems to think that he snitched to get out of this, and that's why Lil Durk is now indicted.
Bric got an open case, and everybody's watching. Bric, where your court dates? Boom! OTF is hit with an indictment.
And even if Bric didn't actually snitch, Whack says that he could be the reason that the feds even look Lil Durk's direction.
Now, you got the people saying, this dude's a known gang member, he ran with these people. Okay, well, let's look over there. Maybe they wasn't even thinking about looking over there. But because they heard him say it, they like, let's look into that. Let's just see where it takes us. And they might have looked at one dude, grabbed at one dude from what they heard, and the one dude went bad and fed him everything else. So,
okay, so let's now play devil's advocate, right? Let's assume that Bric Baby had nothing to do with the death of Lil Pop and that he's not a snitch. And if that's actually the case, please explain these two reactions. This was his live reaction to receiving the news that the 4 OTF members were indicted.
This is crazy.
Hang on, wait.
Yeah, that's
Wait, was this an attempt or an alleged attempt?
He's dead.
No, Quando.
Yeah, Lil Patrick, his man's is dead. His man's is dead.
His boy, but he didn't get hit.
Nah, Quando's fine.
So they got his boy instead.
His boy is dead.
But were they alleged to try to get him too?
Yeah, he was there.
So was he the intended target?
I don't know.
See, this is how you need to be when you sit down with Diddy's bodyguard.
Yeah.
Or, sorry,
This
Biggie's
is
bodyguard.
good. This is good.
This is exactly
I'm
the
getting
kind
a free lesson here as well.
Yeah. So essentially,
Thank you for that, by the way.
got
Appreciate it.
you, my man. So this dude, Quando Rondo, he's an artist that was affiliated with the dude that had had killed King Von. So, and this was allegedly a retaliation for that.
Well, I'm about to say, nah, that's crazy. So the feds charged the indictment was unsealed Thursday in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles. Are confined under DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Ryan, and I.C. Houston.
I don't know, maybe I'm looking too deeply into it, but he seems nervous. And to make matters even worse, he says that giving up Quando's location for Lil Durk is something that he would actually do. Like, why would you say that?
Then there's people like, you lined up somebody from your hood. Like, listen, I didn't do it. But at the end of the day, what's wrong with giving my friend the address? Oh, this is my boy. He lost his boy. Who did it could be around. 9 times out of 10, had he had asked me, I probably would have been. You know, if he even asked anybody, if this is even true. But 9 times out of 10, like I said, can I leak a bar?
Sure.
I said, if you make the call right now, I dig his up in.
Right. What's wrong with getting somebody from your own gang killed because your friend asked you to?
I mean, what's wrong with that?
Like, forget on a moral level. Clearly, this guy has no morals. But on a street level as well, especially in LA, openly admitting to backdooring your own gang for your millionaire buddy is crazy. So you guys tell me what you think. Firstly, do you think Bric was involved in the hit in any way? And was he co-conspirator 2 or co-conspirator 4? And secondly, do you think he's a federal informant that gave up Durk for his own protection? And even if he didn't officially snitch, do you think that his song lyrics and comments on podcasts are the reason that the feds looked into Lil Durk? Well, personally, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Bric Baby goes to jail for the rest. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But what I will do is hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe.
This is all allegedly. This ain't none of this is ain't none of this you did For sure.
The sex, booze, and drug-fueled freak-offs at the center of the case against Diddy. New reports today claim he spent up to $500,000 per event, which included the mainstream part. Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Diddy. And for the lurid after party.
That ain't the one I'm looking for. My bad, y'all. Here it go right here.
Another interview is resurfacing, giving us a look inside the world of Sean Diddy Combs. The rapper's infamous party lifestyle seems to have been an open secret in the entertainment industry, and celebrities were often asked about their interactions with the music mogul. We're going to take a look at what artist Machine Gun Kelly had to say about a 2-day party fest with P. Diddy. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
Damn, they was fucking for 2 days.
Rumors, allegations, strange stories, they just continue to roll in about Sean Diddy Combs. And that includes not only old interviews that Combs himself did on various talk shows and TV hosts, but also what other A-list celebrities have said about him over the years. Now, if you've been following the story, you know that Sean Combs is currently locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center, a notoriously violent and dirty detention center out in Brooklyn that is plagued with violence, drug smuggling. I mean, it just got raided by the feds in a massive sweep for contraband. But Combs, he is sitting there because he is accused of being the head of a criminal enterprise.
We don't know for sure
power,
if
money, influence to
Bric Baby is the motherfucking
large pre-planned sex performances.
But dude put that shit together.
According to a civil lawsuit
made
that
that
he settled
shit
with
look like
ex-girlfriend
it could be
Cassandra
possibly
Ventura, as well as
be
the
true.
indictment from the Southern District of New York. Combs
You
would
know
have
what
his
I'm
employees bring in
Let's
drugs
get up on
and
this Diddy
prostitutes
update right
and would
quick.
have sex with whoever Combs wanted.
And if anybody want to
Ventura
drop
claims that
the,
Combs used
want
various
to
drugs
get on
like
the stream,
marijuana,
man,
ecstasy to keep her compliant.
I could
Forced her
drop
to perform
a link
sex
so
acts
you can be
with
added,
these sex
just in case
workers
you got
on film.
questions or something.
Now, while these so-called freak-offs are at the center of federal
Just let me know.
racketeering and sex trade.
Just let me know.
And the court didn't say that it was, more prejudicial than it is probative, right?
As you can see here, I used Upside to find a gas station. I claimed an offer. I paid with my credit card, followed the steps on the app. I got cash back. And you can use Upside at all different kinds of places that you go to every day. Restaurants, convenience stores. So to find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code.
And make sure y'all hit the like button, man. 12 likes in an hour. I accidentally ended the other live and came right back.
9 years ago, in 2015, MGK sat down with Sean Evans for the show Hot Ones on the First We Feast YouTube channel. Now, if you haven't seen the show, it's awesome. Evans interviews celebrities as they eat hotter and hotter wings. It gets really funny, really uncomfortable. It's a really interesting way to do an interview. Unfortunately, I have no snacks. No one feeds me here at Long Crime. That's a separate issue. Anyway, Evans asks MGK.
I do got an update for y'all, though, man. Shout out to that nigga AK-47.
What is a very lavish lifestyle? What was that like?
We can watch his content.
Says, well, Sean Combs invited him to come out to Las Vegas.
We gonna come back to this Diddy shit, man. I want y'all. I should have went straight to this after that video. My bad, y'all. Shout out to AK.
Voice of the Streets. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Well, I think we got some progress in what OTF Jam really did, man. So out of all these live streams and videos, I know I've been wrong on a lot. I know I've been right on a lot. Hell, we just trying to figure out what the hell Jam did. Somebody reached out, man, and I think we got it. Now, this person ain't want to be named. This person is close to Jam. Not Durk like that, but this person was still in Chicago. See, I didn't know Jam was still in Chicago more than he was actually around Durk. See, because
he was on parole, he couldn't travel.
Videos, we thought he was always around Durk. No, he wasn't. Jam was still frequent in Chicago. Jam still lived in Chicago and everything. So, to clear up the wire rumors, Jam did not wear a wire ever. I was given clarification on what OTF Twins post actually meant. Okay, so this was OTM's 2 stories that he posted. It was only 2. He never posted Jam. One was of Marlon Kirsch, and the other was of Sharon Hollis. Now, I don't really want to go into the background of Sharon Hollis because he was accused of doing some things before, but these 2 was allegedly told on a dude from O Block, Big Smooth. They told on the
dude from O Block. They both OTF affiliates. Been around. This is the dude that they told on. Dude from O Block. He did almost 2 years. I think a year, some change or two. And this is what Twin was leading to. That them two told on him. Now, as y'all can see, this is the Marlon Kirsch dude. This is a mugshot picture of him. And I'm being told that that dude is him. He been around dirt. He said we got another Sharon Hollis. This is where everything started going downhill. Jam getting arrested for a weapon. I'm being told that Jam never was initially supposed to get arrested for the weapon. He was initially getting arrested for a probation violation or parole violation. Why? Because this dude did the dumbest thing in the world that you could possibly do. And this made Durk and them look even more dumber because they should have knew this from the jump. Jam did all that time in jail. He went to jail when he was 17 years old. You feel what I'm saying? Got out when he was 30 or something like that. So everybody know that this dude was only out for a few months before the Pab murder and was only out a few months after the Pab murder and he went to jail. Why did he go to jail? And what started having everybody around speculating? Jam. The dude was on parole. The dude was not supposed to leave Chicago unannounced or anything. So guess what Jam did? Stupid. He is on this case. Oh yeah, he told. According to these motherfuckers, Judge Jam told Basil even snapped it when Basil posted this. And be right in the room with you. Grandma always told me your friends is your best enemies. And then he alluded to for the youth that think it's cool to slide with your partner. Let this be an example. A dude get in trouble, try to get himself out of trouble. Ain't coming at you or nothing like that, but if y'all get slide with your partners, you just read it between the lines with that. So this dude actually used his name, his ID, to board the plane the day before Pop died, and the dude used his ID and his actual name to board the plane after Pop died. So let me get y'all to understand, Jam made a documented record that he traveled from Chicago to California without telling his parole officer the day before Pop died, and then after Pop died, a few hours later, he documented himself leaving California. So stick to that while we continue. I made a video talking about Ken, Ken, y'all ain't see it, go read the video. It's people coming to me saying he probably ain't gonna get bought up because he is deceased. But they is saying OTF Jam is too. And if Ken was alive, he would be arrested right with these niggas. So let's clarify on that. Like I said, hell, I've been wrong, but I've been right. And people coming to me, and here we is right now. You feel what I'm saying? So they wanted to clarify something that was going on. A lot of people were saying that Jam snitched on Durk because Durk didn't get him out of jail, pay for no money. Nope, he had a no bond hold. He knew Durk couldn't get him out. Some people were saying that he snitched on Durk because his baby mama got killed and they didn't slide for him. Nope, because the situation that we're about to talk about happened before his baby mama died. So to keep that in mind, let's go, man. Now, what I was told was these dudes were smoked with or without Jam, period. Because their face was on the in and out when they went. They on numerous cameras in the hotel rooms. Because I guess the hotel was getting booked and they could see Jam and other people on the hotel rooms. And these dudes used the ID. So I guess in the paperwork where it said they used travel and all that, guess why, man? Guess why these people expected Jam? There's no proof though, but this is why everybody saying, "Oh, it's Jam, it's Jam, it's Jam." I was told when the paperwork came out is when all these OTF dudes started to put everything together 100%. The ones that's free, the ones they had nothing to do with nothing. So Jam had got arrested in 2023 off the gun charge. He was supposed to get arrested just off the violation. Why did you leave town? You know what I mean? And questioning on what did you leave town for and all that, right? Jam in jail. It's people telling me that somewhere between him going to jail, and like a month or two later, the feds just was coming and questioning everybody, Durk, Boogie, everybody, because I guess they was doing their investigation, and they put the cars together, Ronnie, and they put everything together. So everybody was on eggshells because of that. So what I'm being told, he did not put the feds on them. They all put the feds on them by traveling so recklessly, and the feds was doing their job, doing whatever, right? So Jam gets locked up. He's in Cook County. He's making calls. Everybody know he in Cook County. Everybody know he in Cook County. Then they said they couldn't find him no more. He went in the registry. He stopped calling. All that. So what people was assuming was the feds hollered at Jam while he was in jail. And when they see the paperwork of the numerous time-consuming flight travel, that's the feds from California flying their ass to Chicago, questioning Jam. Now this is what I'm just thinking right here. Why you go to California? Mind you, they see them on the photos of the in and out, so they know he was in one of them cars. Of the videos, the in and out. They see them in a hotel room that connects to OTF. They see, you feel me? So they know why he went out there, and that's when people say they think he voted. And for him to get out of trouble, because for one, he violated his probation, you should go back to jail. For two, then when they get you with a gun on you. And then for three, you just stupid. So I asked, why y'all think they waited so long to get him? Because Pop died in September. A lot of people just think, the feds just wanted to catch him. Chicago Police Department just wanted to catch him when they catch him. I was told if you in Iraq, you could correct me that a lot of probation violators, they'll come get you 2-3 months later. You think you're scot-free. And they said Jam was on the run. You see what I'm saying? He was actually on the run, like hiding out in certain spots. And they got him. When they got him, they caught a gun on him, but he already had violated his probation because he was never supposed to leave Chicago. That's when we get the serious events of his baby mama getting killed afterwards. Now, the person who talked to me said they don't want to put that on there or nothing like that. There's been a lot of speculation, and she died a little mysterious, man. You feel what I'm saying? But all that transpired after. They said that everybody knew Jam was telling like a month or two after he got locked up. They knew it was over, but they knew he was telling because he disappeared out the system, stopped calling everybody phone calls, stopped calling everybody phone, and they knew it was strange. And then when he was calling people phone, he was asking certain things that didn't make sense. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that had people like, what the hell Jam really on? You feel what I'm saying? Yes, y'all, whether y'all believe me or not, I finally was able to talk to somebody that's, close to them boys, and they kind of laid out a little story. They told me a little more, but I don't think I should really be saying all that on YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, Jam never wore a wire, but they believe in their heart that Jam told, and when they see that he did not get arrested, that just stamped it, and his name wasn't identified, that stamped it, and them boys just dumb. It was just dumb. Now it's even dumber. Why would y'all have him fly out there? Why would y'all have him fly out there and you feel me? Just dumb. Man, if I was driving with a devil flew jet, bro, y'all gonna be on the radar immediately, bro. He can't leave. Why is his name and ID floating through the registry of flight travel? When y'all know he on parole and y'all know he can't leave. Why? You can pass with music videos because maybe he got permission or, maybe they can't tell the location of where the music video, whatever. But damn, to do that, so they was on jail, man, from the Chicago police, and then it's probably like the feds probably like, one of them is in custody, let's go holler at him. And he spilled the beans, man. He ain't been, the boy was locked up since he was 17. He only was out 6-7 months before the pod hit, if that. And he was only out, 4-5 months after the pod hit, little under a year of freedom. Now he go back, man, I violated my I done got caught with this move. And I'm getting questioned by days, bro. What y'all want to know, man? Can I work out a deal, man? I ain't trying to spend the rest of my damn life in jail, man. For real, for real. And I think that's what happened right there. So a lot of us was getting a lot wrong. It's not just me. I'm not coming at nobody. Me too, excluded. I apologize. Never do I want to mislead nobody, but God damn it, I made them videos. The only thing I cared about, I never cared about if they did it, how they did it, or nothing. It was just the jam shit, man. Because once again, and this is further proof that did not come. It was made up from a blogger. That came from directly their camp. Nobody told Twin to post them posts. Nobody told Zoo to post what he posted, and nobody told some of them to start leaking out that jam was the rat. And because of that, it got confused, and people was confusing the wire wearer on a whole other case that don't got nothing to do with this one with jam. So now all these lies up here. But this is my question though: is Jam really free, or is he in jail still in Chicago, and they're just hiding him? I got a weird message a couple days ago, and I was like, what the hell? Take a look at this, y'all.
Now, this shit say, some chick, and just was responding to stories and shit. So, my best friend forever works as a guard at the federal building in Chicago. She got Keith Jones on the floor. She said there's one more, but they don't even know his name. No one in the building has access to his name. I said, wait, huh? She said, OTF. Then she tried to call me. I was not answering that shit. Then she said, you get what I'm saying? One of them got a protected file.
We having so many people DM me. Usually, I would probably delete some shit like that. But when she said they got a protected file, I said, damn.
I get shit like that and don't even respond to it.
Just, in case Jam pop up in the business, I could be like, yeah, somebody told me. Y'all know how I be. But then I just got to thinking like, damn, can we not find Jam because we looking for the wrong place? Everybody trying to look for him in the state. What if he ain't in the state? What if Jam was in federal custody this whole time? What if he already admitted to his guilt and admitted to everything? Look at another reason why you will be a co-conspirator, y'all.
Now, when I Googled this shit, I showed y'all this the other day. It says, what does an unindicted co-conspirator mean? Because co-conspirator 2 is not in the indictment, so he's unindicted. Federal grand jury indictments and reports typically refer to people as unindicted co-conspirators if they allegedly conspire with others to commit a crime, but are immune from prosecution in exchange for their testimony, previously pled guilty, or are ill, dead or unknown.
If he ain't in here, and then I thought of G-Duck trial. Oh, fine, what if it's an unindicted name came up, but he wasn't actually listed as nothing. Zier was an unindicted co-conspirator. So when you dead, they can bring you up, or they don't have to bring you up. So I started to think like, damn, it's all making sense now. Did Jam already plead guilty? Not plead guilty, because he didn't go to a trial yet. But did he already admit his guilt? And now his testimony is why they're hiding him? Because I wanted to look what the biggest hide you if you're in federal custody, but you are basically an informant or a snitch.
And here we go. A co-conspirator can turn witness against their associates or accomplices, a process known as becoming a state's evidence. This can be important development in a criminal case, as the co-conspirator's testimony can be used as evidence against the defendant.
I start Googling more. Then I realized this is a Fed case. And the Fed's taking up another notch. Most witnesses are protected by the United States Marshal Service under the Department of Justice, while the protection of incarcerated witnesses is the duty of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Now when you get to looking at the whole thing, that's why we can't find jail. Because when I was diving deeper, they will hide your name from existence. You cannot find them on no inmate search. You won't know if they're free or in jail or where the hell they at. And this is why we cannot find jail anywhere. Makes you think who those witnesses were that was in fear of their life, of being threatened. It makes you think. Jam baby mama died, and they saying he turned witness, and everybody knew before she died. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, man. Let me know y'all thoughts on this in the comment section, man. King AK47, voice of the street. No.
Crazy.
This Ray J Diddy stuff is getting bonkers. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signo. Now, look, I don't love TMZ as a brand, but sometimes they do have news that we need to report on, and they've been starting to slapdash these sort of documentaries quickly about Diddy. And last night, another installment debuted where Ray J did an interview. Now, I didn't realize the timing of this, but the timing of this was this premiered last night, and then pretty much right after it premiered, this happened. We reported on this yesterday. If you missed our live, we talked about this, but now it's starting to make more sense. I didn't realize the TMZ documentary was out as this was being posted on his stories. To refresh you on what's going on, first, let's start here. Now, this is the clip from the documentary featuring Ray J. For those of you unfamiliar with Ray J, he was in that Kim K tape. And I watched more of the documentary where they sort of talked about that. And Harvey Levin's like, dude, you're like the king of these tapes. Like, why weren't you ever invited to these parties? And Ray J kind of plays dumb and is like, yeah, it's a good question. Makes me wonder if these things are true. It's a lot of weird stuff in there, but the reality is, like, is he covering up for something? Is he trying to save face? I think a lot of people in this are saving face. There's a lot of ex-workers who are now, out there trying to say, yeah, I wasn't working. I was just at the party. I think a lot of people are trying to save face and not look complicit in the actions of these freak-offs. Now, I don't know if Ray J's complicit. He claims he doesn't like group X parties. He prefers to be just him and his partner, or just him and some women. He doesn't like to share. So he's like, freak offs aren't for me. But this is where things got interesting in the interview, and they did reveal this clip on TMZ. Let's watch it.
In victims to keep their name out of it.
I gotta be careful with this music they always play.
Do you know people who have had demands put upon them where they have paid off to keep this quiet?
Of Diddy. Does he know of people who want to keep quiet? Now, this silence reaction is even longer in the documentary.
Here's what I do know. People do catch and kills all day. And a catch and kill, I don't know if, of course, you know, but for the regular world, somebody has the truth, somebody pays you to keep it quiet, and hopefully that money that you got paid secures your happiness while you watch the lie continue to succeed.
Well, I want to just make sure I understand you. What you're saying is what? That you know people who have been approached by women, men, whatever, who have said, give me money and I won't talk?
Here's the other way around that, Harvey.
Again, I have to offer commentary. These clips and stuff sometimes limit and block the video, but this is important to get at because Harvey's pushing at a good question. He's just trying to nail him with the question of, like, have you spoken to celebrities who are telling you they're buying these stories?
I'll give you money. Please don't talk.
You are a well-connected guy.
I'll give you money, please. There's this fine line between extortion and settlement. And Chris Todd's been talking about it too. It is sometimes hard to distinguish, but if you threaten to reveal or expose someone and your solution is money, and it's not through a lawsuit, pretty much extortion. So it's a fine line here.
You know that what you just described, is that going on now?
Yes. They want to talk to me. They want to talk to me about what happened to them. They call me. They feel like they can trust me.
Wait a minute. Calling you for what? Calling you for what?
Because they want to tell me about certain things that happened with them and Diddy.
Ray, I want to make sure I understand this. Are these high-profile people calling you because they've had some affiliation with Diddy that they don't want to come out, and they think you might be the vessel for it coming out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I don't even know why I just said it, but I said it, so what? Now they got to be mad. Come get me.
Were they specific about what they did with Diddy?
I don't want to say. I think I said too much.
Now, one could say convenient, because there's a lot of people sort of starting and teasing and not really revealing things. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. This was last night after premiere.
Just tried to shoot me and tried to kill me. And you want me to apologize? Fuck you.
Now, again, I have no proof of these things being connected, but I'm just telling you the timeline, how it goes. The documentary premieres yesterday. Last night, as the documentary's out there, this guy, Ray J, puts this out there. You want me to apologize? Apologize for what? We don't know yet. He hasn't elaborated. Maybe we will, but he's getting shot at. While he's also out there sort of revealing that as a ex-friend or friend of Diddy currently, people are calling him, filling him in on things. This is where things are getting wild. This is legit crazy because he's admitting what we kind of already heard from others and sort of just confirming what we've sort of been told, that Busby sort of alluded to this too, Tony Busby. Yes, celebrities are starting to pay off these victims to keep them quiet. And that's what's really sad about all this. A lot of this is just going to stay quiet. Now, if they're just, trying to expose things they did consensually, like that they just don't want out there because it's just bad for their brand, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's still extortion and it's kind of messed up. But if they're staying silent on criminal acts, if they're trying to take the money to not come forward and expose criminals and behavior that's affecting or hurting others, shame on them. Absolutely shame on them. So, look, the reality, though, as Harvey even mentions in this document,
why would he tell that?
The big O word, the group party, group X type of activity, that four-letter O word, which Ray J makes clear he's not into those. But Harvey even sort of reiterates, those aren't illegal. Like, it happens a lot, especially in Hollywood and around with rich people and famous people. People just like to be in groups and do that. If it's all consensual, it's none of our damn freaking business. That's what makes this complicated. And even Diddy's lawyers have tried to play that. Like, yeah, he likes weird stuff. He likes to freak, but it's all consensual freaking. Like, stop judging and shaming. Like, this has always been what it is. There's nobody here who's not invited or wanting to be there. I mean, this is Diddy's excuse, right? I don't believe all this at this point. But the reality is, clearly Ray J is involved in some of this. He sort of alludes to it, but with women. And I'm sure it happens a lot to celebrities, right? That's where things are getting complicated here. Are some of these celebrities trying to just by being involved in even a consensual or party like that where nothing was really going wrong and they just want that to be not revealed? Or are they involved in parties like Diddy parties, freak off parties, where there are workers and people not consenting? Because that's where I'd have take umbrage and have a problem. And it's hard to know, it's hard to follow, it's hard to keep track. And I don't know if now Ray J's covering up for that. I don't know if he's regretting speaking out and talking about it, why he's scared. People are now shooting at him. Is this connected to that, or is it connected to the Combs sons who already tried to get a beef with him, which Chris Brown stopped? Things are getting crazy. Look, I've tried to reach out to Ray J. We'd love to try to get you on the show, Ray J. I'd love to hear from you on your perspective on this and get a little bit further. What are you implying? Are these things connected? We will keep you posted. But all I know is this case is getting dangerous. It's getting dangerous. People are starting to name names, put things out there. People are getting threatened. People are worried. There's legitimate stuff and fear in a lot of this because I do believe Diddy and his associates are powerful and they're in that corner, right? When you're in a corner, what happens? You slash out. So I'm starting to feel it. I don't know about you, but we will keep you posted best we can. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell for all alerts. Smash that like button as well. Leave a comment down below and help us support us.
sure. Yeah, man. So Ray J say motherfucker tried to kill him. He talking too much. AK think he just cracked the case. He got his facts and shit. What else? What else we did?
Oh, King AK-47.
Oh yeah, I want to watch.
Another interview is resurfacing, giving
Hip Hop Buddha. What he just did. I really be showing motherfuckers love. Putting y'all on these different type of channels. That's how, let's see.
Nigga should have won. Nigga should have got the 50K, goddammit. I mean, damn. I ain't saying he did, but
This nigga funny than a motherfucker.
I don't know how much money he done gave her. I can't say, but damn. He should have. I'd have had Nikki on camera for giving her the 50K. Yo, we back with another one, man. And I got a real question for y'all. Like, why y'all ain't never tell me Lil Durk was married? I had no clue. You know what I'm saying? I knew he had kids and all that, but I ain't know Smirk was married. You know what I'm saying? So we did this video about his wife. Now I haven't seen the video yet. I'm watching the video with y'all, but it say he married. So we finna go on here and check it out and see what's going on with Durk and his wife. Let's go.
Just as the news of Lil Durk's shocking arrest broke, Nikki, his estranged wife, suddenly went viral, stirring the internet.
Him and Nikki was married? I did not know that. Let's go.
Sparking endless questions about her life now. Once the strong woman behind one of hip-hop's biggest stars, Nikki faced a whirlwind of love, betrayal, and heartbreak. From her sudden rise to social media stardom, to the shocking revelations surrounding their separation, Nikki's story is full of twists and resilience. Let's uncover the truth of what really happened to Nikki after she parted ways with Durk. Nikki goes viral amid Durk's arrest. As the world reels from the news of Lil Durk's arrest on some of the heaviest charges of his career, an unexpected figure has been pulled right back into the spotlight, Nicole Convene, also known as OTF Nikki. Yes, Nicole Convene, the same woman who once stood beside Lil Durk through his rise from Chicago's underground rap scene to mainstream fame. Now, as Durk...
Okay, but I thought Nikki was just his baby mama. I ain't know that they had got married. Or did they get married? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments.
Durk faces accusations that could end his career. A viral post has stirred up a wave of support for Nicole, Durk's first love and mother of children. And why has this resurfaced? Why, of all times, has Nicole, who's now living a completely separate life from the OTF world, become the center of attention once again? And why has Nikki gone viral? Here's what we know about the viral post and the whirlwind of reactions that followed. It all started with a single, seemingly innocent post on X, formerly Twitter, that exploded across social media on October 26, 2024. Someone shared an old photo of Nicole and Durk together. Caption, Lil Durk's gonna be all right. We bounce back from this. Just like that, over 4.9 million views and thousands of shares later, Nikki's name was everywhere. It was almost like a flashback, a reminder to the world.
Now, is this Nikki? Because this don't look like Nikki. You saying the other girl, Nikki, but they keep showing this girl. This girl look like Roseanne. You know what I'm saying? She look like Roseanne. I don't know, man. We don't know what's going on, man. And when did Smirk get married? I thought the girl, Bric, Dage Loaf, I thought that was his fiance. And I thought India was his fiance. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell going on around here?
World that often Nikki had been there since the very beginning. So why did this
that bitch look like Roseanne?
Why would anyone care about a throwback photo of a couple who split over a decade ago? The answer is simple yet complex. For Durk's fans, Nikki represents loyalty, authenticity, and a connection to his early days that seems almost lost now. And as comments flooded in, it became clear people had not forgotten her. One user wrote, "She was with him when he was nobody, a real one." Another said, "Without her, there would be no Durk," which is ironic. Now, if you think about it, the high school sweetheart, the one who co-founded Only the Family, Alongside Durk, the mother of his children has become something of an unsung hero for his fans, but she never asked for that title. In the years since their split, Nikki has built a new life, one far away from the drama of the OTF lifestyle. But it's clear that for many, she still embodies the foundation of Lil Durk's legacy. And then, with Durk facing serious federal charges, his relationship with Nikki takes on a whole new significance. It's as if fans are now asking, where would he be without her? Fans quickly.
Why the fuck, but? Hey, who is that, man? Hold on. Hell no.
That's Vine.
Hold on, man. Why was he looking at smirk like that? We cannot let him get away. Hold on, man.
The drama of the OTF lifestyle. But it's clear that for many, she still embodies the foundation of Lil Durk's legacy. And then, with Durk facing serious federal charges, his relationship with Nikki takes on a whole new significance. It's as if fans are now asking,
bro, hold on, man. Hell no. Hey, no, we ain't doing that. Why is he looking at smirk like that, man? Hell no, man. No, who is this, bro? Y'all put it in the comments right now. Why is he looking at him like that, man? Why? You can't. There's no reason for you to be looking at another man like this at all. Why is he? Come on, man. No, hell no, boy. This shit crazy.
Where would he be without her? Fans quickly rallied, pointing to Nikki's unwavering support back when Durk was still trying to make a name for himself in the hard streets of Chicago. They remember stories of Nikki paying for studio sessions and holding things down when Durk had nothing. In a way, Nikki is Durk's history, a part of his journey he can never fully erase. But for Nikki, it seems like it's been more than a decade of trying to move on. She's not part of OTF anymore. In fact, she's the CEO of a successful credit restoration company called The Credit Click, with a thriving social media presence and a new life of her own. And despite the viral post and the renewed attention, Nikki hasn't said a word about Durk or his arrest. No reactions, no statements. She simply moved on. And yet, it seems like the world won't let her fully leave that past behind. She's a reminder to fans of the raw beginnings, the sacrifices made in silence, and the journey that shaped who Lil Durk is today. So now, as the public watches Durk's life take this dramatic turn, it's almost like we are all watching Nikki too. The woman who stood by him in the early days, the one who helped him build the very brand he's now fighting to protect. This viral moment, this unexpected spotlight, it's more than just nostalgia. It's a reminder of loyalty, of sacrifices that are often forgotten, and of a legacy that's still deeply tied to a woman who's moved on. Nikki's viral resurgence might just be the unspoken story in Lil Durk's saga, a story of what could have been, what was, and what still remains. And yet, the story of what happened between them and why she left him in 2013 is still full of questions and some shocking revelations. Durk legal battle and Nikki's return to headlines. The arrest of Durk caught everyone's attention, from fans to critics to the media, who were hungry for details. And for Nikki, this was another sudden thrust into the spotlight, a spotlight she hadn't expected and certainly didn't ask for. But that's the thing about life in the...
I gotta find Nikki page, man, because all these feet. Okay, so I'm getting confused just watching this. Like, it is like 1 minute it look like her, the next minute it don't look like her. Like, damn, I don't know, man. I ain't seen Nikki probably since she was claiming OTF, you know, pregnant with the red pants. So I ain't seen her since then, bro. But it's crazy, this video, bro. She looking like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different girls. That's wild, bro.
Public eye. When you think you have finally moved on, it has a way of pulling you back in. This wasn't just about Durk anymore. It was about a shared history, a tangled web that Nikki couldn't easily step away from, even though she had tried so hard to build a life outside of it. And as the details of Durk's legal battle began to unfold, Nikki's social media started buzzing. Every post, every picture, every word she shared seemed to fuel the public's obsession with her connection to it. Whereas on the flip side, Lil Durk's legal troubles have reached a pivotal point. He stands charged with one of the most serious crimes possible, conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The federal government's case, supported by an FBI affidavit released on October 25th, 2024, claims that Durk, whose full name is Durk Devontae Banks, financed a planned act of revenge. According to federal agents, Durk and members of his rap collective, OTF, allegedly plotted to target fellow rapper Quando Rondo after a long-standing feud turned deadly. These charges stem from a gas station shooting in 2022, where tragically, not Rondo, but his cousin lost his life. And now, as Durk is behind bars, supported by an FBI affidavit released on October 25th, 2024, claims that Durk, whose full name is Durk Devontae Banks, financed a planned act of revenge. According to federal agents, Durk and members of his rap collective, OTF, allegedly plotted to target fellow rapper Quando Rondo after a long-standing feud turned deadly. These charges stem from a gas station shooting in 2022, where tragically, not...
Now look, That's Lil Pab right there. I don't know who the hell that other dude was. See the other video? But I knew goddamn well. I said, hell no, that ain't Lil Pab. I don't know who that was, but hey, man, be checking y'all videos, man, because that wasn't no Lil Pab. I don't know who the hell that was, but that's him right there.
Rondo, but his cousin lost his life. And now, as Durk sits behind bars, one of the nation's top celebrity defense lawyers, Bradford M. Cohen, believes there's a path for Durk to beat this charge. The key to this case lies in what evidence the prosecution can actually bring forward against Durk. According to Cohen, who recently spoke on Law Crime's YouTube podcast, a single text from Durk has emerged as potential evidence. This text message, in which Durk appears to distance himself from the travel plans of other OTF members, reads, "Don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking." Bradford Cohen admits, certainly that's not a good text. But Cohen quickly points out that while suggestive, this message alone does not prove intent or direct involvement in a conspiracy. It's a piece of circumstantial evidence, one that could easily be interpreted in a variety of ways. As Cohen put it, is that the only text? Because if that's all there is, he insists, it's far from enough to stand on its own in the court of law.
So far, I've seen one text that says, "Don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking." Certainly, that's not a good text. But is that the only text? Because that doesn't, that in itself doesn't stand on its own. Certainly, it's circumstantial. But
now you know they got way more than that. Come on, man. You the lawyer. You supposed to be smarter than that. You know damn well they got more than that. Y'all thought that. Oh man, that's all they got on Diddy. That ain't nothing. Oh, that's all they got on Diddy. That ain't nothing. Baby oil. Baby, that nigga Diddy still ain't got no bond. Got nigga like baby oil. Baby oil ain't a crime. Shit, tell them that. Shit, they lock him up for his Playboy, man. The nigga had baby oil. Some guns and baby oil. Nigga, no bond.
like I said, we have to wait and see what other evidence they have.
This brings us to a crucial question. Is the government's case against Durk strong enough? Cohen remains unconvinced. In his view, there's a lot missing here. If the prosecution cannot present a clear line of communication proving that Durk directed or financed the alleged revenge attempt, then the conspiracy charge could fall apart. And according to Cohen, this might actually be the case. Meanwhile, the situation for Durk's co-defendants appears to be far more dire. Cohen highlights that the other members of OTF arrested in connection with this case face a damning set of evidence that includes travel records, plane tickets, and even video. Cohen points out that these other guys have been directly linked to travel plans, a rented car, and other physical evidence tying them to the alleged crime. For them, this case is going to be an uphill battle. Yet, for Durk, the landscape may look very different. Cohen believes that Durk's defense can argue he had no direct involvement in this alleged conspiracy. They can contend that Durk's association with individuals who might have had their own agendas does not necessarily imply guilt. According to Cohen, I think that Durk will still have a defense. He sees missing pieces in the case that leave room for doubt, reasonable doubt. For now, Durk's defense rests on challenging the strength of the evidence against him, framing him as someone who may be connected but not directly culpable. The question remains, will this defense be enough, or will new evidence emerge that could shift the case once again? For Lil Durk, this isn't just a case. It's a fight for his freedom, his reputation, and perhaps the very legacy he's built in the music world. Facing a potential life sentence, he and his legal team know they can't afford to leave any stone unturned.
Now, y'all know that, man. Y'all just showed ain't on this damn legal team. That come on, man.
The media attention, fans, critics, and legal analysts are all watching closely, ready to dissect every new revelation. For Nikki, this wasn't an easy moment. She had moved on, and yet she was being pulled back into the narrative she thought she'd left behind. It was a moment of testing, a question of how she would respond to the resurgence of attention, to the people who couldn't let go of the Durk and Nikki story. So how did Nikki respond? She kept her focus on what mattered most to her children, her goals, and the life she was building on her own terms. There were no public comments, no statements, just a quiet resilience in the face of an endless media storm. This time, Nikki was determined to protect her peace. She knew that the public's fascination with her past couldn't define her present or her future. As the court dates continued, the media spun the story in every direction possible. Old photos, interviews, and speculation surfaced, digging up the very moments Nikki wanted to leave behind. They weren't just covering the case, they were covering her. So where does this all lead? What really happened to Nikki? And why did their relationship end so suddenly? The tragic story of Bric and Nikki's relationship. Our story goes back to a time before the fame, before the bright lights, and before Lil Durk was even Lil Durk. This was Chicago, late 2000s.
Hold on, man. I had to I had to do my Instagrams, not the Googles this time, the Instagrams, goddammit. I had to stop this for a minute and do my Instagram, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Nah.
it do say, for the credit click, it do say that Nikki is the CEO. But the whole time, bro, these other females I'm seeing on here, bro, they look like Roseanne, bro. They look like Nikki. What the hell going on around here, man? Hey, man, I'm going to find out, man. I'm going to have to do some more Googles or something. They got one picture on there say CEO, man. The rest of them girls look like Roseanne, man. 2000s, just two teenagers trying to survive a city that didn't give much to anyone, especially not to kids from Durk's neighborhood. For Durk, meeting Nikki was like finding an anchor in a world that seemed to spin out of control. She wasn't just his high school sweetheart. She was his support system, his motivation, and his family. The OTF family we know today, that was built on the foundation of Nikki and Durk's relationship. Durk often spoke about how Nikki was with him before anyone knew his name. Back then, it was just Durk Banks, a kid with a love for music and a dream that felt impossible. While others doubted, Nikki believed Durk was cool to all them so-called homies he had with him, and to the ones that flipped OTS, only the snitches. I already know that. And that's who the feds protected. Because if y'all look at that paperwork, how is one of the shooters not indicted? Then you got two other people that they said was in on it, but they not indicted. So it's like if you was in on it, but you ain't a suspect, nigga, you a witness, nigga. They telling no smirk. He had something special, something worth chasing. And that kind of loyalty in Durk's eyes was everything. When Durk was out in the studio late at night, hustling for hours, Nikki was there. While others may have questioned his decisions, she stayed by his side, believing in him when he barely believed in himself. And in their world, that kind of loyalty wasn't just real. It was safe. In fact, in many ways, Nikki helped Durk get through the challenges he faced on the street, the struggles, the temptations, and the pain. Nikki was there through it all, helping him stay grounded. It was that unwavering faith that allowed him to focus on music, on becoming something more than just another statistic in a tough neighborhood. And as Durk's dreams grew, so did their commitment to each other. They had their first child together, a son, Angela, a bond that made their relationship even stronger, that brought even more purpose to their lives. They weren't just a couple anymore. They were a family, and with each step of Durk's rise, Nikki was right beside him, pushing him, supporting him, and believing in him, no matter how uncertain the road ahead seemed. But fame has a way of changing things, doesn't it? As Durk's popularity grew, so did the pressure and the temptation. Everyone wanted a piece of him, and the OTF lifestyle started pulling him further and further away from that quiet life he had with Nikki and their kids. They had built a family, and that family was now feeling the strain of fame. Durk and Nikki welcomed their second child together, a beautiful daughter named Bella Banks. But by this time, the pressures of fame and the demands of the music world had created a divide that was becoming harder to ignore. The relationship that had once been unbreakable was starting to crumble. The OTF brand, the music, the tours, the fame, it all became too much, leaving less and less room for the relationship that started it all. And in 2013, the news broke that Nikki and Durk had decided to part ways. For Nikki, it was the end of a chapter that had defined her life, a chapter filled with both love and sacrifice. But even after the split, the two remained connected through their children, through the memories, and through the legacy of OTF that Nikki had helped build. In interviews, Durk has spoken about Nikki with respect, even after the split. She was there in the beginning, helping him chase a dream that everyone else thought was unreachable. And for that, he says he'll always be grateful. Every relationship has its breaking point, doesn't it? Those moments when things aren't as simple as they once seemed. For Durk, true, but I need to see the wedding photos, man. I thought they was married, man. I know Nikki his baby mama, but I thought they got married. For Nikki, the cracks in their relationship became impossible to ignore, as fame, temptation, and a fast-paced life drew him into a world far removed from where they had started. As Durk's name started to shine brighter, it wasn't just the music world that took notice. It was a world of late nights, packed clubs, and all the wrong people ready to pull him in every direction. And as he rose to fame, Nikki could feel him slipping away, bit by bit. The love they had was strong, but with Durk's increasing fame came whispers, and then rumors, and then headlines that made it impossible for Nikki to ignore the truth. Infidelity, the word alone can shake the strongest of bonds, and for Nikki, it was like the foundation they had built together was suddenly crumbling beneath her feet. And then the rumors turned into evidence. Nikki began to see the messages, the photos, the late-night calls that Durk couldn't explain away. He was now tangled in a lifestyle she had not signed up for, with temptations that seemed all too willing to lure him away. For Nikki, this wasn't just about betrayal. It was about losing the man she had once believed would always be by her side. And maybe it's that sense of loss that hurts the most. The feeling that the person you built a life with is no longer the same person standing before you. Nikki knew Durk's heart. She'd seen him at his best, at his most vulnerable. But now, it was as if she was staring into the eyes of a stranger. Their relationship, once so strong, had reached a point of no return. Durk's focus was elsewhere, on his career, on his fame, and in moments of weakness, on
people who weren't Nikki. And that's the hardest part, isn't it? Not just the betrayal, but the reality that sometimes having love isn't enough to hold it all together. But Nikki wasn't just heartbroken. She was determined to herself and her children. For her, this relationship had to end because the trust was gone. And without trust, there was no future left for them. After trying to work things out, after enduring the public scrutiny and the endless rumors, Nikki knew she needed to walk away. She needed to start over. It was a decision that was...
You know what? The more and more I think about it, Durk, you gave the wrong person $50K. What the hell you pay jail for? Nigga should have won. Nigga should have got the $50K, goddammit. I mean, damn. I ain't saying he did, but I don't know how much money he done gave. I can't say, but damn. He should have, I'd have had Nikki on camera giving her the $50K. She the one that was down. She the one that stayed loyal. She was the one with you when your dress couldn't grow, nigga. The money should have went to her. You feel me? Nigga giving all the money to Jam, though. Nigga funded OTS, goddammit. Funded the ones that's taking you down, goddammit. That's crazy.
Wasn't easy, but it was necessary. For Nikki, the choice to leave wasn't about abandoning love. It was about preserving it. Love for her children, love for herself, and maybe even a lingering love for the man Bric used to be. Separating was their breaking point, but Nikki knew she had to put herself first. For once, she wasn't just the support behind the artist, the woman in the background. She was Nikki Cavone, a mother and a woman ready to rebuild her life with or without Durk by
She
her side.
Italian?
Separation.
Corleone, she wasn't Italian. She looked a little Italian.
Nikki knew that the public's opinion didn't matter, only her truth mattered. And that truth was that she could no longer stay in a relationship that no longer brought her peace. So Nikki took the courageous step to walk away. She turned a painful chapter into a new start for herself and her children. And as she moved on, she reclaimed her independence and built a life that was no longer defined by Lil Durk or the legacy of the past. And while Nikki found her way forward, Durk was still climbing higher in the music world. But behind the spotlight, he carried the weight of his choices. And soon his actions would have serious consequences. Because fame, fortune, and legacy don't erase the reality that sometimes our past decisions catch up to us. So what's life been like for Nikki since? Has she really moved on, or does the legacy she helped create still linger in her life today? Life after divorce, Nikki's success story. For many people, a breakup with someone so deeply woven into their lives would be a setback. But for Nikki, it was a turning point. It was a moment to reclaim her life, to redefine who she was, not just as Durk's ex, but as Nikki Cavone. I think we can all relate to that feeling, right? The urge to find...
Did they get married on Lemra? I mean, damn. When did they get married? Yeah. Nigga the wife, nigga the boss, nigga this, that, nigga, where's the wedding picture?
Yourself again, to peel away all the labels others have given you and start anew. For Nikki, this wasn't about running away from the past. It was about building her own future. With every step she took away from the shadows of her past, Nikki was building a life centered on her children, her passions, and a newfound sense of independence. She became more than just a part of Durk's world. She was creating a world of her own for herself and her family. For Nikki, being present with her kids and creating a stable, loving environment became her top priority. She used her family as her anchor, making them the driving force behind her efforts to build a stable, independent life. As she dove into her career, she also redefined her approach to parenting, balancing her professional ambitions with her dedication to providing her children with a loving and supportive home. Nikki didn't just become a mother focused on survival. She transformed into a role model, showing her kids what it means to stay resilient, committed, and unbreakable. Nikki channeled her energy into a new venture, something she had long aspired to, becoming the CEO of her own company, the Credit Click. In her new role, Nikki took charge with a purpose. As CEO, she applied her experience, insight, and empathy toward guiding her clients through their financial journey, helping them overcome obstacles in credit, budgeting, and financial planning. The Credit Click isn't just a company, it's a manifestation of Nikki's vision to empower others, offering guidance to those looking to improve their credit and take control of their financial lives. By helping people navigate the complex world of credit, she was creating opportunities not just for herself, but for the community she cared about. Nikki's commitment to her clients at the Credit Click demonstrated her belief in second chances and new beginnings principles she knew all too well. Her empathy and hands-on approach attracted a growing client.
She was in there like Dame Dash was after Jay-Z threw that meeting. I don't know nothing about our culture. Everybody credit out here messed up. Once you get out, Randy, after, you know what I'm saying?
Clientele
Wow.
who appreciated her understanding and guidance, the business soon gained momentum. allowing Nikki to reach new levels of success while also making a meaningful impact in people's lives. Beyond her business achievements, Nikki took on the role of a dedicated mother. Raising her children as a single parent was a responsibility she took seriously, with an emphasis on instilling values of resilience, kindness, and determination. She maintained an environment that was nurturing yet grounded in the reality of hard work, teaching her children that setbacks are simply stepping stones toward future successes. Her approach to parenting was rooted in understanding and communication. Nikki wanted her children to see that while life could be challenging, they had the strength within them to overcome any obstacle. She involved them in her journey as a businesswoman, showing them the value of dedication and perseverance. Nikki ensured her children were a central part of her life, balancing her role as CEO with being present for them through all their highs and lows. This bond with her children was a cornerstone of her success, as they provided her with motivation, inspiration, and joy. In today's digital world, Nikki quickly recognized the power of social media to connect, inspire, and influence. She began sharing her story and insights on platforms like Instagram, where her journey resonated with a growing audience. Nikki's authenticity and openness allowed her to stand out, attracting followers who found inspiration in her resilience and positivity. Through her social media channels, Nikki offered glimpses into her life as a businesswoman and a mother, sharing everything from motivational tips to her personal journey of rebuilding her life. Her followers admired her honesty about the struggles she faced and the practical advice she offered on overcoming obstacles. The Credit Click's social media pages became a valuable resource for anyone looking to improve their financial literacy, attracting individuals who respected her knowledge and trusted her guidance. Nikki used her social media not only to promote her business, but also to foster a community. Nikki's influence went beyond her role as a CEO. She became a relatable figure, someone who could connect with her audience on a personal level, inspiring them to believe in the possibility of transformation and success after difficult times. While Nikki's social media influence continued to grow, she was mindful of maintaining a grounded and low-profile approach. She carefully chose to avoid controversy, focusing her public image on positivity, personal growth, and resilience. Rather than engaging in sensationalism, Nikki kept her online persona as real and honest as her offline life. Nikki's ability to steer clear of controversy reflected her grounded personality and maturity. She didn't seek fame or attention through dramatics, but rather let her work and personal stories speak for themselves. By focusing on her values and staying true to her mission, Nikki has built a solid reputation as a woman of integrity and purpose. Her decision to avoid controversy has allowed her to foster a positive environment around herself, her business, and her family. She continues to make an impact without compromising her values, proving that a successful life after divorce doesn't have to include drama or negativity. Nikki's success story is not just about career achievements or social media influence. It's about finding strength amid adversity, embracing change, and inspiring others to believe in the beauty of second chances. Life after divorce didn't hold Nikki back. It propelled her forward into a life defined by purpose, empowerment, and hope. Thanks for joining us on Nikki's incredible journey of resilience, growth, and empowerment. Her journey reminds us that life after heartbreak can lead to incredible.
All right, so basically, Nikki started her own business. Like I said, I ain't seen one wedding photo, so I don't know if they was married or not. It is, it is what it is. But fellas, before I get up out of here, ain't nobody perfect. We mess up. The women mess up as well, also. But if your baby mama loyal, look out for her. Take care of her. If she was there when you was down, when you come up, make sure you take care and look out. You know what I'm saying? For your baby mama, no matter what type of terms y'all on, if she the one got your kids and you handling business and you up, just look out for her. Make sure she's straight. What you don't want to do is give the money to the niggas that's gonna tell on you. Don't be supporting no niggas that's gonna snitch on you. Don't do that. But y'all get down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Boy, Buddha, I'm out.
That nigga funny as hell. Yeah, we up out of here, man. It's been 2 hours, 6 minutes away. Catch y'all tomorrow. Good night, people.